Hello, today we're talking about Zygarde, the final Dragon Ground Pokemon as of the filming of this. Barring Mega Evolutions, it's also the final Dragon type, Ground type, and Legendary Pokemon introduced in Gen 6. Mega Zygarde is the tallest form of a Gen 6 Pokemon as of the filming of this. Mega Zygarde and Complete Form Zygarde are the heaviest forms of a Gen 6 Pokemon as of the filming of this. As previous PYC dates are February 13th, 1998, December 15th, 2000, October 17th, 2003, August 18th, 2006, June 19th, 2009, April 20th, 2012, February 20th, 2015, December 22nd, 2017, October 23rd, 2020, and August 25th, 2023. I find the concept of Zygarde being made of pieces, the Zygarde cells and Zygarde cores, interesting, particularly the fact that its primary forms reflect the percentage of cells and cores it has. When I first learned about the Zygarde cells and cores, I thought these were things that you collected, like Gimmighoul coins, or Legends Arceus's Spiritomb spirits, that once 10%, 50%, or 100% were collected, it would then transform into its respective forms of Zygarde. But although this is how it's done in the lore, it doesn't seem to be the in-game way of obtaining these forms. I was also under the impression that this was a man-made Pokemon, as it looks more man-made than natural, especially when compared to Xerneas and Yveltal. I like all of Zygarde's forms, and think that 50% form is particularly fun, since it looks like a Z, clearly mirroring the X for Xerneas and the Y for Yveltal. For 10% Zygarde, I always thought the extension on its neck was supposed to resemble a scarf, but apparently it's supposed to resemble a leash. Speaking of 10% Zygarde, I wonder why they gave 10% Zygarde a mark that looks like a butthole. It seems kind of unnecessary. Anyway, I most know Zygarde cells from two places. 1. I know it as a collectible in the Collect with Zygarde event in Pokémon Cafe Remix. 2. I know it from 2 trailers for Legends ZA. I most know Zygarde cores from 3 places. 1. The aforementioned Collect with Zygarde event. 2. I know it as Squishy in the Gen 6 era of the anime. 3. There is seemingly a Zygarde core, or perhaps an approximation of it, in the player shop in Pokémon Friends. I must know 10% form Zygarde from 3 places. 1. The aforementioned Collect the Zygarde event, where after getting enough Zygarde cores and cells, I was able to unlock 10% form Zygarde as a server at my cafe. I also know it on the app icon for Pokémon Cafe Remix during the event. 2. I know it from 3 trailers for Legends ZA. 3. I know it from the poster for Volcanion and the Mechanical Marvel, where it presumably appears in the film. I most know 50% form Zygarde from 2 places. 1. The aforementioned Collect with Zygarde event, where, hypothetically, I could have gotten enough Zygarde cores and cells to unlock 50% form Zygarde, which, as far as I'm aware, is treated as a distinct Pokemon from, rather than an alternate costume of, 10% form Zygarde. 2. Well, it really applies to Zygarde as a whole, but really would have been 50% form Zygarde at the time. I know from rumors of a 3rd Kalos entry in the Gen 6 games, Pokémon Z, which would hypothetically have brought the series back to the 3-game structure it had back in the first 4 generations. However, this didn't happen, with some fans speculating that Pokémon Z was planned, but was scrapped in favor of focusing on the Gen 7 games. If this is true, it is possible that this is where 10% form and complete form Zygarde would have been introduced, explaining why they were introduced in Sun and Moon, games that seemingly have nothing to do with the Kalos games, beyond also featuring Mega Evolution. If it already had those designs, it makes sense to feature them in the next games. But that's just speculation on my part. I most know Mega Zygarde from the latest trailer for Legends ZA. The hexagons that make up the various forms of Zygarde are the clear inspiration behind the hexagons that appear in the transitions in the Legends ZA trailers. Anyway, let's get into the Bulbapedia article. Hello and welcome to the Bulbapedia section of the video. Today we'll be talking about Zygarde, the order Pokemon, whose number is 0718. This is 50% form Zygarde, this is what it looks like. This is 10% form Zygarde, this is what it looks like. This is complete form Zygarde, this is what it looks like. And this is Mega Zygarde, this is what it looks like. Type Dragon Ground. Abilities: Aura Break in its 50% form and 10% form. Power Construct in its 50% form, 10% form, and complete form, there's a note here. Zygarde's 10% form and 50% form with the ability Aura Break are both treated internally as separate forms from 10% form and 50% form with the ability Power Construct. Gender ratios, gender unknown. Catch rate is 3 or 1.6%. Breeding is egg groups. No eggs discovered. Hatch time is 120 cycles. Egg not obtainable. As 50% Zygarde, it's 16 foot 5 or 0.5 meters and 672.4 pounds or 305 kilograms. As 10% Zygarde, it's 3 foot 11 or 1.2 meters and 73.9 pounds or 33.5 kilograms. As complete form Zygarde, it's 14 foot 9 or 4.5 meters and 1,344.8 pounds or 610 kilograms. As Mega Zygarde, it's 25 foot 3 and 7.7 meters and 1,344.8 pounds and 610 kilograms. Megastone is Zygardite. Base experience yields 270, leveling rate is slow. EV yield is 3 in HP. Shape is that, other forms may have other shapes. Pokédex color, green, other forms may have other colors, and base friendship is 0. Zygarde is a dual-type dragon/ground legendary Pokemon introduced in Gen 6. While it's not known to evolve into or from any other Pokemon, Zygarde has 3 main forms: 10% form, 50% form, and complete form. Zygarde, exclusively in its complete form, can Mega Evolve into Mega Zygarde using the Zygardite. All forms of Zygarde are composed of Zygarde cores and Zygarde cells. Zygarde can switch between its 10% and 50% forms at the reassembly unit or with the Zygarde cube. If its ability is Power Construct and its HP drops below half, then Zygarde in either form will change into its complete form. Specifics may differ in past games. Refer to game data form data for these details. Zygarde, Xerneas, and Yveltal are often collectively referred to as the Aura Trio by fans. Zygarde 50% form was introduced in Pokemon X and Y, having no form name originally. Zygarde 10% form and Zygarde complete form, as well as the Zygarde cells and Zygarde cores, were revealed in the October 2015 issue of Koro Koro magazine and later introduced in Pokemon Sun and Moon. Mega Zygarde was introduced in Pokemon Legends ZA. Zygarde plays a central role in Pokemon Legends ZA, serving as one of the game's key figures. A Zygarde core plays an important role in the X, Y, and Z arc of Pokemon the series XY. Biology: Zygarde is a green and black Pokemon composed of smaller units known as Zygarde cores and Zygarde cells, who collectively define its appearance and power by assembling in different percentages. In all of Zygarde's forms, the various cores and cells are represented as green and black hexagons that glow when it attacks. It has also been shown to be able to fly in all of its forms. Zygarde cores make up the brain of the species. Zygarde is the guardian of the Pokemon world's ecosystem and is responsible for monitoring it for abnormalities from caves such as Kalos' Terminus Cave and Alola's Resolution Cave. Zygarde is described as a being that seeks to correct excess, find moderation, and restore balance, is capable of reversing the effects of Xerneas' Fairy Aura and Yveltal's Dark Aura, thus ensuring the equilibrium of the cycle of life and death are kept in check. Normally, Zygarde avoids getting involved in conflicts unless the ecosystem is in grave danger. It is also known to ask for humans to assist it in protecting the ecosystem when necessary, but can still be wary of those it does not trust. In the Pokemon Adventures manga and in Pokemon the series, it has been referred to as Z. In the animated series, a Zygarde core and 2 Zygarde in their 50% form have had the green coloration on their bodies changed to red as a result of the influence of Team Flare's Mega Evolution Energy weapon. Moreover, all of their forms were depicted as capable of human speech via telepathy. Zygarde is the only known Pokemon capable of learning the moves Land's Wrath, 1,000 Arrows, 1,000 Waves, and Core Enforcer. It is also the only known Pokemon that can have Aura Break and Power Construct as its abilities. Zygarde cores and Zygarde cells. Physically, a Zygarde core and a Zygarde cell are almost identical. Both are small green cell-like blobs that resemble a planarian. Their bodies are gelatinous, semi-translucent, and can be segmented into 3 sections: a large round head and abdomen with a colored hexagon, and a stubby tail. They have 2 eyes, though one is larger and has a pupil and can stand on their tail, a trait most associated with the core. The difference between a core and a cell is subtle. Cores have a black pupil and a red hexagon embedded inside their abdomen, while these are both green on cells. So Zygarde Core, Zygarde Cell. On their own, neither cores nor cells have the power to battle, needing to assemble in order to take action. The cells exist in far greater numbers than the cores and therefore make up the majority of any given form of Zygarde. However, they lack wills of their own and can only act in accordance to the orders of a core. The cores act as Zygarde's brain, and Zygarde may have up to 5 of them. It can also use its cells for attacks, such as raining them down like arrows or scattering them throughout the ground in waves before they're recalled into its body. When Zygarde exhausts all of its power, it splits back into individual cores and cells and scatters all over the world, reaching even far-off lands. While in this state, they absorb the native power of said lands and may request assistance from humans in order to reassemble. As seen in various media, the Zygarde cells demonstrated some form of will of their own and are capable of moving independently, without a Zygarde core commanding them. Form: Zygarde has 3 forms: 10% form, 50% form, and complete form, which are composed of Zygarde cores and Zygarde cells. Zygarde complete form can Mega Evolve into Mega Zygarde, so 10% form, 50% form, and complete form. 10% form, Zygarde 10% form, is a relatively small canine Pokemon. Its body is primarily black, though its neck, muzzle, mouth, eyebrows, and left front paw are green. Additionally, it has 2 green hexagons on its chest and a single one on its rear. From its neck, a green ribbon-like extension comes out next to an elongated red hexagon, giving the impression of a leash and dog tag, respectively. Its eyes are white hexagons with no discernible pupils, and there is a thin white line on its forehead. Its mouth is fitted with razor-sharp fangs. On each of its legs are black hexagonal extensions, 2 on the back of each elbow, 1 behind each knee, and 2 on each hip. One of the hip extensions is longer than the other on each hip. Zygarde's 10% form is assumed in cases of emergency. It is created when only a tenth of its cells have gathered, and is the result of its cores calling cells across the land when it needs to fight. Zygarde 10% form contains only 1 core. It is skilled at close-range combat, overwhelming its opponents by leaping at their chests and sinking its sharp fangs into them. It is also capable of running at speeds greater than 60 miles per hour, 100 kilometers per hour. However, it cannot maintain this form indefinitely, and it will eventually fall apart. Concept art of Zygarde shows that it can wrap its leash around the arm of someone it trusts. Concept art of Zygarde's 10% form. See, with Bonnie. 50% form, Zygarde 50% form, is a large serpentine Pokemon. Most of its back, head, and neck are black, while the underbelly and the tip of its tail are green. Its eyes are made of 4 green hexagons, similar to an insect with compound eyes, and there is a thin white line down the center of its face. Across the back of its neck is a large frill made of 5 long, flat protrusions that each have 2 small green hexagons on them. There are 3 short tendrils on either side of its chest. They are black on the right and green on the left. Its tail also ends in 5 tendrils. It has several small green hexagons on its body that occasionally glow white. Zygarde's 50% form is assembled from half of its cores and cells reuniting. Zygarde 50% form can contain up to 3 cores, despite using only half of its full potential. Its power is capable of overwhelming anyone who stands in its way. The 50% form is known to be both ruthless and merciless. There are rumors that an even greater power lies hidden within it, being capable of changing to a more powerful form when battling those who threaten the ecosystem. Its frill can be shown vibrating as it attacks, as seen in Down to the Fiery Finish. Zygarde 50% form can summon and control massive roots for attacks and covering areas. Complete form. Zygarde complete form is a large humanoid Pokemon. There are several flat protrusions around its head and triangular protrusions around its neck. These protrusions create a crown shape. On its face, there are 3 white hexagonal marks, 1 in the middle of its forehead with a line through it and 2 that act as eyes. There are additional 5 green hexagons on its face, 4 along the bottom and 1 in the middle of a short protrusion on top. Each shoulder has 2 serpentine wings protruding from it. The wings all have an undulating pattern and a hexagon near the tip. blue on the right side and red on the left. There are multiple white protrusions on its body, 3 on each hand, acting as claws, 1 on each knee, and 1 and the front of each foot. Additionally, there are green hexagons surrounding its wrists and 2 under the white protrusions on its knees and feet. Its abdomen has a vertical hexagonal pattern with a thin white line on either side. Across its chest is a thin, zigzagging mouth that, when opened, reveals 5 hexagons colored red, orange, white, cyan, and blue, respectively. It has a long tail, similar to Zygarde 50% forms. The complete form is Zygarde's perfected form, created when 100% of its cells and cores are gathered. In this state, Zygarde can fight at full power and complete its duty of protecting the ecosystem by suppressing those who willingly endanger it. Zygarde complete form contains 5 cores, 1 for each of its wings, and its tail. Despite all of them being in a single body, each core can make decisions and act independently of others. The Zygarde cores can freely change the shape of the 4 wings and tail for a variety of roles. Notably, the tip of its wings can form snake-like heads that can be used to attack with energy beams, propel itself, and restore an unbalanced ecosystem back to normal, as seen in forming a more perfect union. The zigzagging mouth on its chest can radiate enough high-powered energy to destroy everything around it, even firing energy beams from within it. It has also been shown to form a green protective barrier to shield itself and its allies. It has also been shown using Core Enforcer as a rush attack, leaving a Z-shaped carving in its opponents while dashing through them before it explodes. The complete form is only used to neutralize huge threats to the ecosystem, such as Lysander's Giant Rock, the Laquium Core, the Ultimate Weapon, Ultra Necrozma, and Hyper Rogue and Floette. It is powerful enough to overwhelm even Xerneas or Yveltal. Zygarde complete forms, complex physiology. Zygarde complete form, creating a protective barrier. Zygarde complete form, scorching a Z-shaped line with Core Enforcer. Mega Zygarde. Overall, Mega Zygarde retains most of Zygarde complete form's humanoid structure, but the cells composing its body have been strategically relocated. Notably, it has lost most, if not all, of the hexagons composing Zygarde complete form's lower body, arms, and wings, exposing its light green body. As a result of this, Mega Zygarde has completely lost its wings, having seemingly replaced them with 6 smaller arm-like structures on its legs. Only the 3 hexagons on each knee remain, though they change from symmetrical white and green to asymmetrical black and white. The lower part of Zygarde complete form's chest, starting from the multicolored mouth, has also opened, giving the impression it has ripped into strands of black hexagons similar to tree roots. The green eye-like patterns on its chest now have each a differently colored hexagon on them, 1 red, 1 blue. Underneath the chest plate, a series of 5 white hexagons cover the true body. White, chain-like hexagonal patterns run down Mega Zygarde's uncovered torso, arms, and legs, as well as its back and under its feet. Its arms don't end in hands, but split into 3 hexagonal digits. Mega Zygarde's headpiece and tail remain mostly unchanged from its base form, only having lost the green hexagons on its face and having more of those on its tail. Its crown is lit up by a green flame, and its eyes are green as well. Mega Zygarde is said to be born as a result of people's emotions during an unprecedented crisis, allowing it to calm the situation with its unmatched power. Its defining feature is the giant cannon held above Mega Zygarde's head by its 6 smaller arms. The cannon has a cylindrical shape somewhat resembling a tree trunk, decorated with several shapes and lines similar to Zygarde 10% form's leash. The cannon is mostly black, with dark blue and dark red patches circling its length. At the cannon's muzzle, there is a pink symbol resembling a cross between an X and a Y, surrounded by red, blue, and pink lines. Its interior features a circle, 3 hexagons, and a central circle, while its back has a dark green hexagon at the center. When Mega Zygarde attacks with its cannon, the muzzle pattern shines in the shape of an X, Y, and Z before opening up, unleashing a beam of light that defies nature itself, which has been likened to the Z moves found in the Alola region. Such an attack was
powerful enough to overpower Hyper Rogue and Floette's powered-up Light of Ruin, which threatened to annihilate all of Lumio City, as well as to break through the Lacrium Core's defenses and heavily damage it, as seen in HZ-136, which, if you're not familiar, means that this is an episode that has not been dubbed in English and therefore does not have an English name yet. It has been referred to as Lumios's Guardian, due to its saving Lumio City from Hyper Rogue and Floette. Mega Zygarde is the only known Pokemon capable of using the move Nihilite, an upgraded version of Core Enforcer. Mega Zygarde aiming its cannon, Mega Zygarde's cannon glowing in an X shape, Mega Zygarde's cannon glowing in a Y shape, Mega Zygarde's cannon glowing in a Z shape, the inside of Mega Zygarde's cannon, and Mega Zygarde charging its cannon. Mega Zygarde. Game data, NPC appearances, Pokemon Legends ZA. Zygarde is a major character and boss in the game. Zygarde is implied to be related to, or even the same one as the one that appears in Pokemon Sun, Moon, Ultra Sun, and Ultra Moon as a minor character. 10% form Zygarde in Pokemon Legends ZA. Pokedex entries in Gen 6X. When the Kalos region's ecosystem falls into disarray, it appears and reveals its secret power. Why? It's hypothesized that it's monitoring those who destroy the ecosystem from deep in the cave where it lives. Omega Ruby is X entry, Alpha Sapphire is Y's entry. In Gen 7 for 10% form Sun. Its sharp fangs make short work of finishing off its enemies, but it's unable to maintain this body indefinitely. After a period of time, it falls apart. Moon. This is Zygarde's form when about 10% of its cells have been gathered. It runs across the land at speeds greater than 60 miles per hour. Ultra Sun. This is Zygarde when about 10% of its pieces have been assembled. It leaps at its opponent's chest and sinks its sharp fangs into them. Ultra Moon. Born when around 10% of Zygarde's cells have been gathered from all over. This form is skilled in close-range combat. For 50% form, Zygarde, Sun. This is Zygarde's form when it has gathered 50% of its cells. It wipes out all those who oppose it, showing not a shred of mercy. Moon. It's thought to be monitoring the ecosystem. There are rumors that even greater power lies hidden within it. Ultra Sun. This is Zygarde's form when about half of its pieces have been assembled. It plays the role of monitoring the ecosystem. Ultra Moon. Some say it can chain to an even more powerful form when battling those who threaten the ecosystem. Complete form Zygarde, Sun. This is Zygarde's form at times when it uses its overwhelming power to suppress those who endanger the ecosystem. Moon. This is Zygarde's 100% form. It has enough power to overwhelm even Xerneas or Yveltal. Ultra Sun. This is Zygarde's perfected form. From the orifice on its chest, it radiates high-powered energy that eliminates everything. Ultra Moon. Born when all of Zygarde's cells have been gathered together, it uses force to neutralize those who harm the ecosystem. In Gen 9, 10% form Zygarde's entry is its Ultra Sun entry. 50% form Zygarde's entry is Zygarde's Y and Alpha Sapphire entry. The complete form Zygarde entry, it's its Ultra Moon entry. For Mega Zygarde in Legends ZA, in response to people's emotions, during an unprecedented crisis, Zygarde Mega evolves and calms the situation with unmatched power. 10% form Zygarde in the Alola Pokedex. 50% form Zygarde in the Alola Pokedex. Complete form Zygarde in the Alola Pokedex. Game locations. Side game locations. And events. Held items and events that has the gold bottle cap 100% of the time. Stats, base stats. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to compare 50%, 10%, and complete form Zygarde, and then complete form Zygarde with Mega Zygarde. 50% form Zygarde has HP 108. 10% form has 54, and complete form has 216. 50% form has attack 100, this is the same for the other two. 50% form has defense 121. 10% form has 71, while complete form also has 121. 50% form has special attack 81, while 10% has 61, and complete form has 91. 50% form's special defense is 95. It's 85 for 10% and 95 for complete form. 50% form has speed 95, while 10% form has speed 115, and complete form has speed of 85. So this one has a total of 600, this one has a total of 486, and this one has a total of 708. Now we'll compare complete form Zygarde and Mega Zygarde. So complete form Zygarde has HP 216, that stays the same. Attack 100, that goes down to 70. Defense 121, that goes down to 91. Special attack 91, that goes up to 216. Special defense 95, that goes down to 85. Speed 85, that goes up to 100. So this one has a total of 708, and this one has a total of 778, which is significant because it's not 100 like it usually is. Type effectiveness, damage normally by normal, fighting, flying, ground, bug, ghost, steel, water, grass, psychic, and dark. Weak to ice for 4, and dragon and fairy for double. Immune to electric, resistant to poison, rock, and fire all for half. Notes, if this Pokemon is given a ring target, the effectiveness of electric-type moves is half, so go from 0 to half. Learn set by leveling up. At 1, it learns Bite, Dragon Breath, Bulldoze, 1,000 Arrows, 1,000 Waves, Land's Wrath, and Core Enforcer, which all boost at 10. At 8, it learns Haze, which boosts at 11. At 16, it learns Dig, which boosts at 19. At 24, it learns Safeguard, which boosts at 27. At 32, it learns Crunch, which boosts at 35. At 40, it learns Dragon Pulse, which boosts at 43. At 44, it learns Breaking Swipe, which boosts at 47. At 56, it learns Glare, which boosts at 59. At 60, it learns Sludge Wave, which boosts at 63. At 70, it learns Extreme Speed, which boosts at 73. At 80, it learns Earthquake, which boosts at 84. And at 88, it learns Outrage, which boosts at 91. By TM 010 Brick Break, 12 Rock Slide, 17 Protect, 25 Crunch, 27 Swift, 28 Dig, 33 Body Slam, 35 Endure, 44 Hyper Beam, 51 Safeguard, 52 Earth Power, 54 Draco Meteor, 55 Giga Impact, 58 Iron Head, 59 Zen Headbutt, 65 Stone Edge, 69 Earthquake, 71 Hyper Voice, 75 Dragon Pulse, 78 Bulldoze, 85 Substitute, 93 Outrage, 102 Focus Blast, 109 Facade, 123 Poison Fang, 124 Psychic Fangs, 126 Magnet Bomb, 136 Scorching Sands, 143 Skill Shot, 147 Tri Attack, and 154 Fissure. Form change: if Zygarde knows Core Enforcer when it Mega Evolves, Core Enforcer will become Nihilite until the Mega Evolution ends, at which point it becomes Core Enforcer again. So in the event Mega Evolution gets the move Nihilite, it's a special Dragon-type move. Power is 200 and CD is 15. Side game data for 50% form Zygarde. You got on this. For 10% form Zygarde, you got all this. For complete form Zygarde, you got all this. Form data, Zygarde has 3 forms: 10% form, 50% form, and complete form. Zygarde cells and Zygarde cores appear in the story in some games, but they are not catchable Pokemon and are not included in the Pokedex. They make up Zygarde's forms and are not forms themselves. In Gen 6, Zygarde's only form is its 50% form, which was unnamed at the time. The 10% form and complete form were introduced to the games in Pokemon Sun and Moon. It can switch between its 10% form and 50% form using the reassembly unit or the Zygarde cube, and can enter its complete form in battle if it has Power Construct. Zygarde's 10% form and 50% form can have Aura Break or Power Construct as their ability. Internally, Zygarde's ability difference is itself a separate form. This makes it impossible to change Zygarde's ability with ability capsules or ability patches. The reassembly unit or the Zygarde cube must be used instead. Zygarde with Aura Break. In Gen 6, Zygarde can only have Aura Break as an ability, and it has no other forms. In Gen 7, a Zygarde with Aura Break can be transformed by the reassembly unit. This machine can create a 10% form or 50% form Zygarde with Aura Break, or change a 10% form Zygarde with Aura Break to a 50% form Zygarde. It can also change either to a 50% form Zygarde with Power Construct. Since Gen 8, the Zygarde cube's change form function can change Zygarde with Aura Break between 10% form and 50% form. Its change ability function can also change its ability to Power Construct. Zygarde with Power Construct. The Zygarde cube's change form function, change form in Gen 7, can change Zygarde with Power Construct between 10% form and 50% form. Since Gen 8, its change ability function can also change its ability to Aura Break. Any Zygarde with Power Construct will change to complete form in battle if its HP drops below half. When the battle ends, it returns to its original form with the same HP it ended the battle with, within its original form's maximum HP. Zygarde has a unique form change animation when changing to its complete form, which shows Zygarde cells represented by green hexagons gathering to change its form. In Pokemon Legends EA, due to the lack of abilities, the distinction between Zygarde with Aura Break and Zygarde with Power Construct does not exist. Set any 10% form or 50% form, Zygarde will change into complete form when its HP is reduced to half or less, increasing its maximum HP and gaining current HP equal to the amount of maximum HP gained. If Zygarde's HP is reduced below the threshold while it is using a move, it will transform when the move finishes. Zygarde is invulnerable while changing into its complete form. It will change back to its previous form if it is recalled while out of battle, retaining the HP it had at that time. If this is above the maximum HP of its original form, its HP will become equal to its maximum HP. So, Zygarde Cube, Zygarde 10% form, Power Construct, HP 50% or lower, Zygarde Complete Form, Zygarde Cube, Zygarde 50% form. Zygarde's base stats differ between its three forms. Additionally, it can only Mega Evolve when it is in its complete form. If it knows the move Core Enforcer when it Mega Evolves, the move will be replaced with Nihilite until the Mega Evolution ends. I already read all this. Mega Evolution, Zygarde Complete Form, Zygardite, held Zygardite, Mega Zygarde. Evolution data, Zygarde. Sprites, so you got 50% form, Zygarde. And shiny is white replaces the black, and this kind of green replaces that kind of green. In Gen 7, you got not really much changes. Then you now have 10% Zygarde. So, yeah. Then complete Zygarde as well. And then the shiny, of course, is white, replaces, the black, and this kind of green replaces the other kind of green. Shiny, Zygarde, complete form. Looks like not really much changes other than the two colors changing. It doesn't seem like the other colors change. In Gen 8, you get the much better models. Yeah. Oh, I guess the yellow. Oh, the white gets replaced by yellow. Interesting. In homes, you get these models. Okay, any changes here for Mega? Not really. It's all the stuff you'd expect it to be, yeah. Colors seem to be logical, yeah. Other sprites. Zygarde Cell in Pokemon Legends ZA. Zygarde Core in Pokemon Legends ZA. Animation, Zygarde 50% form in Pokemon the Series XY. Squishy's the big one, Z2's another big one. White Zygarde's another big one, so shiny Zygarde 50% form in Pokemon Horizons the Series. Zygarde Cell in Pokemon the Series XY. Zygarde Core in Pokemon the Series XY. Zygarde 10% form in Pokemon the Series XY. Zygarde Complete Form in Pokemon the Series XY. Shiny Zygarde Cell in Pokemon Horizons the Series. Shiny Zygarde 10% form in Pokemon Horizons the Series. Shiny Zygarde Complete Form in Pokemon Horizons the Series. And Shiny Mega Zygarde in Pokemon Horizons the Series. Pokedex entries in XY episode 94 in Ash's Pokedex. No data. In the same episode in Serena's Pokedex. No data. Pokemon Generations. Zygarde Complete Form in Pokemon Generations. Gotcha. In the manga. Pokemon Adventures, Zygarde 50% form in Pokemon Adventures. All this. Zygarde Cell in Pokemon Adventures. Zygarde Core in Pokemon Adventures. Zygarde 10% form in Pokemon Adventures. And Zygarde Complete Form in Pokemon Adventures. In the TCG. Other appearances, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Zygarde's 50% form and complete form appear as spirits. Trivia, Zygarde is currently the last Pokemon in alphabetical order. Zygarde is the only Pokemon that has 2 standard abilities, but does not have a hidden ability. Able to change forms that can Mega Evolve, whose base stat total increases by 70 points when Mega Evolving rather than by at least 100 points. Zygarde, Complete Form, and Mega Zygarde are the only Pokemon with base stat totals of 708 and 778 respectively. Zygarde, in both its complete and Mega forms, has the highest base HP stat of all Ground-type Pokemon. Mega Zygarde has the highest base special attack stat of all Pokemon. The special attack increase is the highest base stat increase of all Mega Evolutions, being boosted by 125 points. Mega Zygarde is the only Mega Evolved Pokemon whose moveset changes when it Mega Evolves, with Nihilite replacing Core Enforcer. The Zygarde Core and Zygarde Complete Form were first shown in a preview for Volcanion and the Mechanical Marvel at the end of Hoopa and the Clash of Ages. Despite Zygarde's 10% form and complete form not being present in the Gen 6 games, they have Pokedex entries for these games in Pokemon Bank and Pokemon Home. These entries are identical to those of the 50% form. Mega Zygarde is the only Mega Evolved Pokemon introduced in the base game of Pokemon Legends EA to not be present in Pokemon Champions as of Regulation Set MB. Origin Zygarde's 10%, 50%, and complete forms may be inspired in part by the three children of Loki and Angerboda in Norse mythology. Fenrir, Jormungandr, and Hell. Zygarde 10% form may be based on the wolf Fenrir. The green leash-like object around its neck could be based on Gleipnir, the rope that binds Fenrir. Its left front paw has a different color from the others, being green instead of black, which is possibly a reference to Fenrir biting off the god Tyr's right hand in reprisal for being bound by him. This form could also draw inspiration from Garmr, the watchdog that guards Helheim's gate. In appearance, it resembles a Doberman Pinscher. Zygarde 50% form's appearance may be based on a serpent in the shape of the letter Z, may also draw inspiration from Jormungandr, a sea serpent that encircles the earth, and Nidhogr, a dragon that gnaws at the roots of Yggdrasil, the world tree. Jormungandr is said to dwell in the world sea encircling the earth, Midgard, which may allude to Zygarde's ground type, Earth, and the 50% form being the middle form, Midgard. Its flat shape and wriggling movement may be inspired by the Zu Chinoko, a Japanese yokai often described as being snake-like. According to the model sheet of Zygarde, complete form for Pokemon Sun and Moon may also form a stylized letter Z when it lifts its cape over its head to attack. This form of Zygarde may be based on Hel, the ruler of Helheim, the realm of the dead in Nordic myth. The colors on its complete form's chest match the colors of the real-world flag of France, the country which inspired the region of Kalos. These three colors match Kalos's pentagonal emblem that is split between three sections, matching each section of Kalos's subregions: blue on the left depicting coastal Kalos, red on the right depicting mountain Kalos, and white in the middle depicting central Kalos. The blue and red colors also match the colors of Xerneas and Yveltal. Design-wise, it resembles a humanoid giant mecha despite its organic basis. Its light-up technological appearance, transforming/combining gimmick, and the face-like pattern on its chest are all tropes commonly used for fictional mecha. Mega Zygarde's cannon might be based on either a railgun or a laser cannon. As Mega Zygarde is stylized after its complete form, it may also resemble a stylized Z and a mech with its cannon posed where the head of the Z is placed. Similarly, many of its hexagonal patterns are also blue and red, representative of Xerneas and Yveltal, justified the X, Y, and Z markings on the front of its cannon. Zygarde cells and Zygarde cores may be based on cells or other single-celled organisms, such as slime molds and members of Euglena, as well as flatworms, specifically Planarian. The hexagon within them may represent a cell nucleus. The concept of the different forms of Zygarde being composed of smaller individuals useless by themselves may be based off colonial organisms. Zygarde's themes of the ecological balance of life may be thematically inspired by zygotes, a type of cell that forms first development stage of an animal's lifespan. Zygarde's form change from its snake-like appearance in 50% form into its human-like complete form may be inspired by Naga, a class of snake entities in South and Southeast Asian cultures that may feature human-like qualities. Name origin: Zygarde begins with the letter Z, following the pattern established by Xerneas and Yveltal. May also be derived from zygotos, Greek for joined or zygote, guard, French for guard, and gardur, Old Norse for enclosure, realm. Now the languages, then also for the Zygarde 10% form, Zygarde 50% form, Zygarde complete form. Okay. Edit articles, references, external links to legendary Pokemon, Mega Evolutions. Let's move on.
Now let's watch Zygarde's first scene in the anime.
Hello and welcome to the anime portion of the video. Today we're watching episode 893 from A to Z. We're at the very beginning of the episode. We're in this cave here. There's 50% Zygarde.
Good, we cornered it. Time to catch it. Let's go!
Okay. And that is Zygarde's first in the anime. Let's move on.
Now see why other people love Zygarde. Now let's look at fan art.
Hello and welcome to the fan art section of the video. Nobody sent fan art, so instead we're looking at DeviantArt fan art. Those of you aren't familiar with the series, what we do is we go through these images until we find an image that doesn't contain Zygarde. This is Zygarde Complete by D. Pretty sure this is just the official art of complete form Zygarde. This is Zygarde's Other Forms by G-Bomber. So you've got Zygarde, number 718, got core, cell, 10% and 100%, all kind of stylized on this purple background that represents the dragon type, and this brown background representing the ground type. It seems to be from May 18th, 2024, or May 24th, 2018, depending on how they do their dates. This is Zygarde, commissioned by Rye Spirit. So you've got this nice image of complete form Zygarde here. Looks like it's about to attack. Very well done. This is Zygarde Cell by D. Again, I think this is just the official art of Zygarde Cell. This is Mega Zygarde and Mega Yvelgarde by Albert Wilson. So it's two fusions. A fusion between Mega Zygarde and Yveltal, and Mega Zygarde and Xerneas. And the second one's their shiny version. Very well done. This is Zygarde, 50% form, Pokemon adoptable, sold by Rafab03. So we've got this interesting looking 50% form Zygarde. It's kind of creepy looking a little bit. Yeah, very well done. This is Power Construct Zygarde by Listless Crawls. It goes from a Zygarde core and some Zygarde cells to 10% Zygarde to 50% Zygarde, and then finally complete Zygarde. Very well done. This is Zygarde by MCG Mark. So we've got two 10% Zygarde here and a shiny 50% Zygarde. Very well done. This is Zygarde All Forms by Zachary Blah. Well, all the forms at the time, I guess. Because we've got Zygarde Cells, Zygarde Core, 10%, 50%, and complete form Zygarde. Very well done. This is Zygarde Kawaki by MV Palkia 2026. So, got this. I'm pretty sure it's just the official image of 50% Zygarde. This is Zygarde, the Order Pokemon, complete form by Koraidon X. So, you've got this complete form Zygarde holding a Mega Stone. I don't know if this is from before or after Legends of EA. Very well done. This is Zygarde by Category Ace. It's got this nice image of 50% form Zygarde here. Seems to be from 2026. Very well done. This is Ash, Serena, Clement, Bonnie, Pokemon by Arcaxia Ray. This is just an AI image of Serena, Bonnie, Clement, Ash, Pikachu. Not quite accurate. Squishy. The heart there instead of the hexagon. This is Zygarde's Trainer by Anterasos 261. It's AI image of a trainer and a bunch of Zygarde cores, I guess, and then a Zygarde 50%. Yeah. And this image wants me to pay for it, and I'm not doing that, so we'll move on.
Thanks to everyone who submitted fan art. Tomorrow we'll be talking about Diancie. As always, this isn't my proper outfit. You'll see me tomorrow.